Hey guys, SeanB. Today I want to do a basic RTA guide so that you can build the best RTA team possible for the next season. In the process, I'll be showing you guys how I build my team to get G3, and potentially you can apply all the steps to build your own team as well. And after finish watching this video, I hope you can build 10 to 15 units, learn how to draft a little bit better, and get more confident at doing RTA. It can be quite fun when you get a hang of it. Before you do anything, you need to decide what will be your core team. This was my core team in the previous season where I got G3 with Heigang, Layla, and Tomoe. In this team, I have two AoE stripper in Heigang and Layla, and Tomoe will be the one that push back the enemy attack bar. So in this small 3-man team right here, I have strip and control lockdown. The other two units on the team will be to counter the enemy, do damage, provide defense break, maybe another speed lead. But the core team is this one. But how do you find your core team? Your core team can be so many different things because everyone's box is different. It is impossible to tell you, hey, do this and you will win in RTA because RTA change all the time and different core teams showed up or fade away through different seasons. So these can be some example core team that you can build, and there are many more examples as well. But the most important thing in these core team is that you have maybe a speed lead, you have some control, you have some damage, you have some protection. My team is more focused on controlling enemy, that's why I need to have double strip. But for a team like Chandra, Sagar, Velaju, they are more about staying alive, have a bit of control, and a bit of everything else in 3 units. For a team like Vanessa and a buffer and maybe a Sonya and other one-shot unit, you are more focused on dealing the biggest damage possible in a turn 1. Other core team variants are either control or trying to stay alive or have one single target control like Oliver, Mouse in the past. It's still relevant, but not as good. So it really depends on what you like to play with. Are you the pure control guy? Are you the bruiser guy? Are you the big damage guy? And you pick your core team accordingly. It is also depending on what you have in your box. So everyone will have a different core team. You don't have to play Chandra, Sagar, Velaju. Okay, even though it's meta, it's very popular, you can play with whatever you want. And also, if your core team is not very meta, then nobody will pick your unit. Make it easier for you to build your own team. Fleshed out the 5 unit. If you main Chandra, Sagar, Velaju, you must be ready to lose 1 or 2 units right off the bat because the enemy might be doing the same thing as well. But how do you find these core teams? You can go to the replay section. You either favorite your favorite player like Mr. Obabo or Kraymon or whoever you want to favorite, okay? You take a look at them to see how they play. And how do you find these people? You go to the best section. RTA season hasn't started yet, so we don't really have many examples here. But you go to the best section, you see whoever you like, and you favorite them, and then you watch more to see what they pick in the later draft. That is the easiest way to learn what is the best core team for you and how to actually play that core team. If the player doesn't use a lot of LD5, even better, you can potentially copy their entire team. You don't have to come up with your own core team. Just copy what works the best for the highest ranked player. And maybe your core team is a little bit quirky and weird. You can't really find example in the World Arena replay section. You can go in here. You can pick exactly what core team is. Then you see who are playing it so that you can get more ideas. If your core team is Molong, Wusa, and Gapsu, okay, not very popular, not super meta, you can still find people that play this exact team, and they probably gonna have Ragdoll in there as well. But this tool is so good at allowing you to know what is being used with your favorite unit, and are they winning? Are they in high rank? Do you have hope playing with that same team? Or you have to find another core team. So after finding out what your core team is, you want to rune them as a team. You don't want to rune anything else just yet, okay? Don't worry about the counter pick, whatever nonsense. You have to focus the best rune on the unit that you pick the most often. So my core team has Heigang, Layla, and Tomoe. They are runed with very similar speed so that they move as a unit. And they have high HP, high stat overall, and if they rely on additional damage and artifact, they get that as well. So build these units really well. If your unit required to put on debuff or strip, make sure they have accuracy, okay? A lot of people in the low rank, they forget that you actually need accuracy to land debuff. Of course, you're gonna miss with 100 accuracy as well sometimes, but that doesn't mean you can have low accuracy on your unit. If you want them to land the debuff, your more Changpeng, your Varad, your Oliver, they all need good accuracy, okay? But as the saying goes, you have to know the enemies even better than yourself. I Don't know who said that, but something like that. So to me, this is the meta. I see these units very, very often. Even though there are many options available for you to play, there will always be a meta. This line can be very different in the next season and the next season and so on. But as you can see right now, the meta is focused about being tanky, a lot of violent procs of despair rune, not a whole lot of swift rune being used, and they are just so annoying because they're hard to kill and they do many things in the first 3 units. And because Chandra is so popular and he's a water unit, you will more likely to see wind and fire in the subsequent draft instead of more water, because you want to avoid being too heavy in one element. So Chandra and then a lot of LD and then wind and fire. And of course, these units are still very popular as well. And the one I hate the most is Shizuka. God, I hate that unit so much. And because the game has been out for so long and they have buffed so many LD files to be really good in the RTA landscape, you need to take note of all the LD files that are popular in the meta. At least you need to know what they do. You don't have to counter them. You need to at least know what they do so that you can fight them properly. If they show up in an enemy draft, you need to know what they're doing so that you don't scramble and just like, oh my god, let's read the skill now. Not good, okay? You get used to seeing these units because they're going to show up very, very often the higher rank you go. Or maybe even Fighter 3, you can still see these units very, very often anyway. Because when I watch people stream and they play RTA and some of the LD5 showed up, they get really flustered and they don't know what to do. They either ban the LD5 or just draft into the LD5 strong point and die because they have no way to counter it because they didn't even know what the unit can do in the first place. And how do you know how to beat these LD5? Very simple. Go back to the replay section. When you farm, you got nothing else to do. You watch the replay of the LD5 of your choice that you hate the most and see how they lose. And that's the best way to learn how to counter these LD5. For example, Laura is very, very popular, but her win rate is not 100%. There'll be replay where she get absolutely destroyed by the enemy team because she stripped into a hay gang and then the enemy with a hay gang team get attack bar, or the team that she's being used with has no follow-up. A lot of times she get banned though, because she's really, really good. But she can also be outsped if the enemy team forget to pick a speed leader, for example. So pick the LD5 that you hate and see how people beat that LD5. And you can do the same as well. But enough about the enemy, let's go back to our team. So this is my sort of dream team because I like to end up in this position where I have the core team, we have Tomoe Layla Heigang, and then I have the damage dealer of my choice. Over there, I prepared 3 different damage dealer. We have Beth, we have the Fire Garo, and we have Amber. They all do very amazing damage. They have AoE dot as well. I realized that my runes are not really good. Okay, so I need to rely on AoE continuous damage to bring down the enemy, just like how you do TOA. Because if I rely on crit damage or my shitty artifact, I will never kill them. But AoE dot damage is incredible. And Amber is so underrated as a damage dealer because she doesn't rely on her stat at all. I built her specifically very tanky to counter Sonya as well, because every Sonya will go straight for Amber to get rid of the damage dealer. But if I can survive Sonya, I can do so much damage, and she can be insanely tanky. Unlike how you have to build a crit rate, crit damage, damage dealer, I don't need to worry about that. And sometimes I get a Dark Robo in here as well, because Dark Robo is very popular for certain team with Han or Wunsa. So when I see that, I want to steal the Dark Robo even though he's not super well run on Despair. He's just on a Swift set. It's still amazing when you steal an enemy strong unit, and it still served really well in my team. And luckily, I recently pulled the Light Desert Queen to put in there so I can counter all the unit that require Oblivion. And she is such a great force ban in this position for my particular team. So whatever your core team is, you need to figure out what kind of 2 damage dealer you can pick so that you have the damage to finish the enemy off, or what kind of 2 counter pick that are really strong against the enemy draft. If your draft is very bruiser heavy like the Chandra Sagar Velaju, you might need to pick more damage dealer. If your draft is very strong in control and has a lot of damage like more Changpeng Bird, then you want to pick maybe a healer, potentially, or a great tanky counter pick against whatever the enemy plan is. Remember, your core team can be really strong, but if you don't have the finishing move, the damage, you will never be able to kill the enemy. And if they don't die quickly, they're going to violent proc, and you're going to regret it really, really quickly. So as I play my team, I realized that these are the most popular counter against my team, and I'm fully prepared for them. Whatever your team might be, you need to learn what is the enemy counter for you in particular. What counter your core team really well you need to know exactly what it is so that you can prepare for it. Because I noticed that if you don't know what your counter is and they showed up and they counter you really well, then you're going to lose very, very quickly. You need to know what counter you so that you can counter them. And that's how you can draft better. And you know exactly what your counter is. You're not scared. You're not going to fumble through your draft when you see, oh my God, it's Veramos. I don't know what to do against Veramos. You need to know exactly what to do against Veramos. Because I didn't come up with the last 3 or 4 unit right off the bat. The more I played, the more I realized that, oh, the strongest counter against me are fire, dark, and water. So the elements I want to go with should be water. That's why I play with Beth instead of Charlotte or Changpeng, because Juno is usually paired with these units. And if I pick a strong wind damage dealer, that's going to suffer against Juno. That's why I end up with Beth, and I need the Beth pushback because that will counter the Veramos and the Tetra, and Beth defense break will allow whatever damage dealer or unit on my team to do more damage to finish off Veramos and Tetra as quickly as possible. So you have to keep playing and experiment until you find the right last pick for you. And you also need to acknowledge that there are certain units that will straight up demolish your entire strategy. And that's totally okay. There are people out there, their account, their unit, their rune, their speed, just straight up counter your entire strategy. They'll sneak in between, they'll stun your villager or whatever. So if these units showed up, I know I'm going to have a rough time. And if I lose, it is totally okay. If I win, it's amazing because I beat the hardest counter, my natural enemy. But if I lose, it is okay. And sometimes you have to accept that you are going to lose, especially against people that are built against you. They're built for beating you, okay? And that is totally fine. And now be different situation that you have to prepare for as well. What if they outspeed you, which is a very popular thing to do in RTA because everyone farms giants. So after experimenting with different high base speed unit to try and find turn 1, I realized that I will not choose the popular unit in the meta, which are Sonya, Ethna, and Asher, and I will go with the Ren. He has higher base speed, he's fire, so he countered the wind unit really well, and he will also have threat state, which means even if the wind unit are on Will Rune, threat state will allow me to take their attention onto Ren, and because they're wind, it is less likely that they will do anything real to Ren. So after a while fumbling between different high base speed unit, Ren was my choice for outspeeding. I'll also have the 33 speed lead rune up so that I can combo with Ren when I can smell the high speed unit coming out. So the draft goes like this. I pick Heigang, they pick whatever high base speed they have, I will have to lock in my Ren and my speed leader. And after that, I can either pick more counterplay unit. For example, if it is going to be Ethna and she's going to stun me, I have my Josephine. I can also pick Leo Vert if I want to. If they focus on the high speed scaling damage dealer, I can still go with my normal unit actually if they decide to not be high speed anymore, because they can pick Ethna and they can still pick Juno Veramos. So I can go back to my Layla as well. And because Ren can provide defense break, it is perfect for unit like Layla Oliver to do even more damage. As you can see, up until now, I've only built about 10 units in my box. We have the core team and the dream team. We have some high base speed unit. And we have some very standard, if you have, you will build Leo, Vert, and maybe Josephine to counter certain things. And so far, we don't really have many unit rune up at the moment. A lot of people rune way too many units in their box, and they are so stressed out on who to play with, what to play with. I actually just give up runing all the popular meta unit that I don't use at all because I know I would never touch them. So I would not have runes on them at all. And I would not confuse myself trying to put in a Chandra or a Cigar in my draft. And just focus on what my core team is, what my dream team is, and what is the appropriate counter pick for the meta. And this one is when people go a lot of LD5 and they start off with Veronica. So this is when I give up contesting altogether and going for the turn 2 position. So I will go with Helena in this spot. She's a great AoE damage dealer. If you run her on Vile, with 1 Violent proc, she get her transformation and skill 2 back, regardless of the turn 1 reset. And Veramos with Heigang is incredible because nowadays everyone want to put debuff on your face. So when you have AoE cleanse of Veramos, you have Heigang in there, you gain so much attack bar all the time. And of course, you know, Leo Vert is Leo Vert. I've beat even Heilan Bao with this team before. It is incredible as long as you survive. So Helena is built very tanky. and she can survive, do great damage, even against Tian Lang. It is incredible. I love this team so much when I can see that they go with Tiara Veronica. I will not outspeed that. They probably on Whale, and Ren will do nothing to Veronica. So this is where I give up turn 1 entirely. It's pretty fun sometimes. Also, you need to be prepared for when they draft your core team unit. So when enemy picks Hey Gang, I'll start with my Oliver. I'll have my Swift Robo to strip and push back. That is a soft counter to Hey Gang because I don't let any debuff on them with a strip. And depends on the situation, I might go Bruiser-ish as well. I will start adding in unit like Juno if they go with heavy debuff. I have my Monkey King for damage. I have my Veramos. I've been using so much Veramos. It's incredible because Veramos is so good into the popular meta team being Chandra Segar Velaju because they only have one strong pushback and they have a lot of AoE debuff. So Veramos gonna cleanse the provoke, the slow debuff, the defense perk they're trying to put on you, the provoke. Wait, I said provoke already. So Veramo is just incredible. And if they take Hey Gang and they go with a CC team, this is something that I can do as well. Some of my other counter pick that I rune up for very specific situation like Diana when they go very water heavy and they're going in with AoE damage. I'll go with Diana for some fun damage. Or they're trying to cleave me with Lucian, Leo, Lucifer. Diana's right there as well. Leica is incredible into many different one-shot or snipe team that are very niche, but they do show up. And when they showed up, they will fear Leica until the very next day. Leica is incredible. And when the enemy draft many fire unit, Chao is going to be an incredible last pick option to scare them away because there's a chance that Chao can solo the entire enemy team. So Chao is going to be great as well. And because the meta is very heavy in the wind and fire department, I will rune up some fire damage dealer like Masha, Juno, and Meihwa if you have them. It's gonna be incredible. They can all be on Bruiser build. I used to run Masha a bit more often in this team, replace the Light Desert Queen for damage. But now I have the Light Desert Queen, I can last pick her. But Masha used to be very popular as well because people would pick Velaju, Juno, Smicer, and whatever. And Masha be a great unit when you see double wind, double fire. And they will not be able to control the Masha very, very well. And also Masha scale with debuff. And this team brings all the debuff that she needs. And the last thing I want to leave you guys today is to play more RTA. You don't get experience if you don't play. You can watch all the replay that you want, but only by playing that you get better, get more experience, get better at drafting, get better at knowing what to use at what moment, and how to rune your unit in a way that will surprise the enemy. And that can only happen if you play a bit more every single day. You will lose a lot, okay? It doesn't matter if I'm G3. I will still lose a lot every single time. Look at my win rate. It is 52.7%, which means I lose half the time I play this. No matter how prepared I am, no matter how well I run my unit, no matter how much I know about my enemy, I will still lose half the time. The best G3 player probably lose 30% of the time. That's still a lot of losses in between the game that they play. So you are going to lose a lot. So don't treat every single loss like the end of the world. I know a lot of time you will lose to an RNG game and you feel like, fuck this game, you know, it happens. I understand. I've been there too. But in the grand scheme of things, one loss doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you play like shit. It doesn't mean your runes are shit. It means very, very little. Every single one loss. But every time you lose, you can always learn something to make it better. Of course, there'll be games where RNG will beat your ass down, but a lot of the time, your speed tuning was shit. You picked the wrong thing, you banned the wrong thing, and many more small reasons in between. And keep doing that until you get better. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that it will help you in the next RTA season. And if you need any more explanation in any part of the video or what kind of topic you want me to cover, then let me know in the comment section down below. And leave a like on the video as well. I'll see you guys in the next one.